With all the experience you have now, what would you say is your greatest superpower now? And maybe it's not what people would think it is. And also, what is your biggest weakness still that you're working to overcome that you want to become better at overcoming?
My biggest weakness would be dealing with a lot of my childhood trauma. Because there's sometimes the little J still comes out. You know what I mean? I have to work on that because either you feel slighted. And again, what I had to kind of come to grips with is that what served me then doesn't serve me now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, a violent behavior would serve me then.
It protected you, it guarded you.
Right. And a tough demeanor is like, you know. And was it the next one you asked, what am I working on now?
The greatest superpower.
Superpower.
Yeah.
I say the greatest superpower to me is having a good heart. You know what I'm saying? Because I always had it. You know what I'm saying? And just doing things for people makes me feel like it fulfills me. Like, it's almost like, you know, when somebody call me and be like, yo, thank you for introducing me to such and such, or telling such and such, you know, stop by my business. I'm like, oh no, it's, you know, I love what you do, whatever. Yeah. That's a good thing for me. And then also, my superpowers, problem solving.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, you can put 100 problems on this desk. Scan through them. Okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
that's my thing. And just to add someone to that, I think my biggest superpower is integrity.
Wow.
I have to move correctly because I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror. And there's been some times that I couldn't,
right?
Because I didn't move correctly.
Your past.
My past, definitely. I mean, you know, and based off, like, you know, I would lie if I felt like it was going to benefit me or get me out of trouble. I don't think I can do that today. So I try not to get in trouble because I'm going to be like, yeah, I did it.
Right. Yeah.
But I had to learn that a man that's a real man doesn't lie under any circumstance. He doesn't.
Wow. When did you learn that? When did you start that switch of? I
started that around about my late 30s.
Wow.
Because I was still trying to figure it out then. And I wouldn't like say nothing crazy, but if you asked me something, there was like some pressure behind it, like meaning like I could be in a situation or it might not go my way, then I might lean towards what's going to work for me. But now I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't look somebody.
There's no peace.
Yeah.
When you're always telling a white lie or hiding something, you know. Yeah.
Well, also what I learned too, that it worked for me because you have to be covert, right? You coming from this world, you you can't tell people everything you're doing. Like, now you're supposed to tell me your next step because they could be there waiting for you, right?
Right.
So that was how I lived. But when I started to be more transparent, I started to notice that these quality people that I was bringing to my life became closer to me. They embraced me more. Because you got to think, like, I was the guy that talking about coming over your house for dinner. Oh, no.
Right.
It was.
But the more vulnerable and open and honest and integrity and your word that you are consistently, the more people want to support you.
Yeah.
Who have the same values.
Right.
They say, okay.
The more they want to, even give you a lot of the knowledge that they have.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and not even, you know, like really pour into you, like really lean into you. And at first, you know, that was a little weird to me because nobody had ever helped me before. So now I'm trying to figure out what's the catch.
Right. What are they trying to get out of it? Yeah.
Right. So now I'm trying to figure out what's the catch.
Trying to use me, they're trying to get something from me.
Right. And it took a while. And I'm just like, wait, hold up. Wait. So, and then, you know, I'm not good with time. Like, I remember the trauma stuff, but like, because of course I lived a crazy life in and out here and there. So you meet people and see people. But then when you see people, you haven't seen them in a while and they kind of greet you with that love and they tell you like, oh, I just really love you. Like, at first I couldn't believe it. Right. But over time, started to be like, yo, maybe, you know, that's genuine. That's real. Because where we come from, if somebody tell you they love you, you got to be watching your back.
Really?
Yes, absolutely, 1,000%.
With them.
Yes. You out a nightclub, somebody get in your ear, you know I love you. That's it. You don't want that.
Really?
Yes, you don't want that.
Wow, they could be shooting you the next day or something?
1,000%. I've seen it happen more times than you can think. I've seen it firsthand, you know.
What is the biggest lesson your wife has taught you?
The biggest lesson she taught me in life is that having a partner is having somebody that is on the same wavelength as you, and you guys are building the building together is the best thing in the whole wide world. My wife is smart, super savvy, fly, let me say that. And it's just like, that's my partner. Like, we can talk about things and she's there with me, right? And then she can also tell me things that I wouldn't take from anybody else. Because there's been times I've been in a situation, my wife is like, have you ever thought about? I'm like, no, I have not. Let me get into that. And we sit down, we politic, and we talk, and it's just like we come up with a plan. And I love that. And she can hold her own, and that's what I really respect about her. Like, she has just as many resources and things as I have, and we always put them together to do things.
That's amazing.
Like, she's very well-traveled, and I love that. Like, we can go anywhere, and she's plugged in, and we live a life together that we both sit down. And I mean, the first couple months we was together, we sat down and we did a vision board, and it was like this big vision board that was in the living room in my condo, and we just doing all these just all these ideas, and we looked up maybe like a year later, we had done everything.
That's so cool, man.
We got to do another board.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's amazing, man. I've got a few more questions for you. That's okay. This has been inspiring, man. I could hear your stories.
Thank you so much, brother.
I could hear this stuff for a long time, but I want to ask. I mean, you mentioned Jay-Z briefly, but you've worked with a lot of big artists over the years, right? I mean, who are some of the names that you've worked with, or either been on tracks with, or they've been on your album, or you worked with?
Kanye West, to Rihanna, to Mariah Carey, to wow, the list goes on. I'm the only people I ain't worked with that I ever wanted to work with is Sade and Tupac.
All right.
I think everything else I got covered.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you go, I mean, from not being an artist, not being a rapper, not knowing anything really about music, to working with the biggest names in the world?
I think it's my connection to the streets and the people and the culture. Because, again, like, when you have your community and you have some leadership there, by connecting and collabing, you get to get these people ears that you never would have got, because they don't know you or believe you, but they believe me. Right? So that's the key to it, because that's most of the reason why people do collabs, is to tap into whatever you got, right? And it's just like, when you got people like Rihanna, we done records, you got Kanye West, we done plenty of records. You got people like Jeezy. I got more records with Jay-Z than he has with Biggie Smalls. Like, just think about that.
Holy cow.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So for me, I think we just tap into what each other has. And for me, my stronghold has been the culture, the people. Like, I am the people's champ, and it's way beyond the music. Like, the music is just the vessel and the connection to the people. But I think it's more life things to have, because you can track and see where I was in a bad space. You can see where I was trying to figure it out. You can see when I started to come out of my rut. You can see when I started to think different. You can see when I started to eat different. You can see when I started to dress different. So you're seeing that evolution, and you start to go, hold up, I'm from where he's from. I can do that. He's doing, in real estate in Atlanta. Like, we're really over the world. I'm killing right now. Something I always love. I mean, it reminds me of my old life. You buy something, you flip it, right?
Yeah.
But it's my thing. And now I got business people come to me, talk to me about real estate. These are people in the culture that's really excited about going out here and doing these things that they probably would have never thought that they can do, but they're seeing what I'm doing, and they're going like, wow. Like, and now I'm getting these calls from people that, that I used to know in a whole nother life. Like, man, I just bought this duplex, man. Like, who can I talk to about managing it for me, or whatever. And it's like, these are the conversations I want to have with you. I don't want to have conversations with you that are,
the old way.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
I'm a big lesson guy. I love, I've been doing this show for 10 years. I haven't had so many people like yourself on the show that I feel blessed just to get to ask questions and learn from.
For sure.
You've collaborated, obviously, with some of these names that you talked about, with Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Kanye. What's one lesson from each one of them that you've taken from working with them or observing them?
Right. Rihanna is always be a star. Like, she's different.
Really?
Yeah, because less is more with her. Less is more, meaning like you don't see her a lot. When she pops out, is what she does. I took a page out of that book a while back. Like I'm like a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? You're only gonna see me when I need to be seen, and I'm only gonna do what I need to do, right? And that was just being around Rihanna, just seeing how she moved and how she understood that less is more, and that's what builds her star power, right? And of course, we're not the same thing, but I took a piece from that. Kanye West would never. What I learned from him is to never compromise the art over money.
Really?
Yeah, like he doesn't play about that. Like I give him that.
He'll hold on to the art until the right moment, or
not even that. Like he won't just. It's not about money with him. You see what I'm saying? He's more so about the art, the music, and he won't compromise that, to, get some type of compensation for it. He would rather do it his way,
right,
and go against all the rules, because he feels like in his heart that that's right. And I'm like that to a certain extent too. It's just like, if I don't feel it, you couldn't pay me enough for it. Like you couldn't pay me anything to do what I don't feel is right about.
Sure.
I just not. It's not going.
Not worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z, he, how can I say it? Doesn't talk much. This guy, Jay's like man of very few words, but when we talk, he just always made me understand that don't forget who you are, right? And where you came from and where you're going. And again, don't compromise who you are or your integrity for anyone, right? Because everywhere he goes, he's unapologetically Sean Carter. I give him that.
Wow.
He's not going, he ain't gonna get another room and be different because somebody else is in there. He's gonna come just as he is. He's gonna walk out just as he came in.
Wow.
Yeah, I respect that.
I got 3 final questions for you. I feel like I could ask you tons of stuff, but I want people to get your book, Adversity for Sale.
Yes, sir.
You got to believe.
Uh-huh.
Make sure you guys get a few copies of the book. Give them to your friends. From Jeezy Jenkins. This question is what I ask all my guests at the end of our conversations. It's called the 3 truths. So it's a hypothetical question, hypothetical scenario. Imagine you get to live as long as you want to live. You can extend your life for as long as you want, but eventually it's the last day. But you've created so many vision boards, you've accomplished all your dreams 1,000-fold, right? For the rest of your life. You've lived exactly the way you want to live. But for whatever reason, in this hypothetical world, no one has access to your content, your information, your music, your books. This conversation is gone. Everything you've ever put out is gone. But on the last day, you get to leave behind 3 lessons. And this is all we have access of your information, the 3 lessons that you would share with the world. I call them the 3 truths. What would be those 3 truths for you?
First truth would be karma is real. I've done some pretty bad things in my life. And I tell you, man, the man upstairs, Big G.O.D., he made me pay. He made me pay. And I'll never go back down that road again. Wow. So do right by people and do right by yourself, because karma is real. That would be my first truth. My second truth would be it's never too late for anything. Like you can be how old or you can be in the worst situation in the world. It's just never too late to turn it all around. It's never too late. Like you if you get started today, you're on your way tomorrow, no matter when. And my last truth would be evolve or die. And I don't mean in the sense of the word, but if you're not evolving, you're not living. And the last thing you want to do is take that with you. And they say, the richest place in the world is a cemetery. Because everybody take all these great things with them. And it's just like, you might lose a lot evolving, but you'll gain so much more, right? And you'll have a whole different respect for yourself because we only got one life. And your life has to affect more than what you can see or touch. Your life has to affect. I can never thought then that my life would affect millions, right? And I'm still continuing to chip away at that, right? And again, when I'm no longer here, I want my kids to know that their father was a great man. He stood for something, and he wanted to help people the best way he could. He didn't actually come in the best way.
Right.
But he wanted to help people as much as he could. And I hope and I pray by people seeing me evolve and giving myself the permission to do so on my own terms and my own time, that helps them understand that there's no judgment. If you want to do and become better for yourself, your family, your peers, your community, your culture, your people, you got that right. Because when this life is over, it's a wrap. It's done. And what you didn't do, never get a chance to do that, ever.
Jeezy, I want to acknowledge you before I ask the final question for your ability to look within over the last, 3 to 5 years and say, you know what, I'm going to start talking about things that I never thought I was able to talk about. I'm going to start opening up and being vulnerable, even though I would have been laughed at, made fun of, kicked out of the house or whatever growing up if I would have done these things then. And I acknowledge you for allowing yourself to start to heal and transform and transmit the message that you've learned from, the karma that you've had to deal with in the past from wrongdoings and mistakes and things that you did that were out of integrity, to being the best human you can be. And obviously still no one's perfect, but being on that process of service, adding value where you can, creating, bringing people together, collaborating. So I acknowledge you for the man you're continuing to becoming.
I received that, brother.
The man you're healing into a beautiful man, it looks like. And I hope we get to play some golf sometime, hang out sometime more.
So now I'm having to navigate this, and I'm having to, separate myself, so to speak. But as I'm separating myself, I'm losing my power.
How so?
Because I don't have control over anything else. I got control over the streets. I'm not in corporate America yet. I can't make any decisions or no moves. I'm not
right
over here. I'm nobody.